Well, howdy friends, welcome to Thousand Year Homes. So today I'm going to do a little bit of restorative agriculture or permaculture. So last year during the drought I planted 300 trees and not one of them made it. And man, it hurt me, cut me deep. This year La Nina's on and it is raining quite fierce. So I'm putting in some things that like to get their roots wet. I put in a pecan tree right back there. It's doing rather well even though it's understoried. I'll cut away those mesquites here. Probably the end of this season once it hardens up. Over here I see that I've got my my cedar. It's doing all right. It is definitely, it's a bald cypress right there. It'll drop, but it's doing all right. Roots were down in the water. It was all flooded in. This is a little pond that I dug out to keep this driveway dry. This used to be flooded up. So it's a spillway right now. But I dug it deep enough. It's 3, maybe 4 foot deep. Today's effort is to take those little blueberries, and I have one of each variety, and I'm going to plant them along the banks of this little bog because blueberries love bogs. I have something called a Confederate rose. Now I don't know about that name. I'm going to look up another name. I don't particularly care for that. My ancestors fought against the Confederates. Best flag they ever flew was the white one. I say, are those going to be white? And they're not. They're pink. So it's a hibiscus. Let me just call it cotton rose. I like that better. Cotton rose. All right. So we'll see how that does. I'll put it in here. And then the last thing I've got is my loblolly. And I've been putting in loblollies as I go. I want to do a little bit of loblolly here. So put those blueberries in right there. Alright, I'll probably fast forward through that. So I've got 3 different varieties here. This one says it's a climax blueberry. I'll stake all those up so that they bush up a little bit more than that. This one says it's a tribute Tiff Blue blueberry. How far apart do they want to? 10 foot tall, 8 foot wide. So they want a little bit of space between these, 9 foot. So we'll pace them out. The third variety that I have is called an Austin blueberry. So I have 3 varieties, 2 of each. So I'm hoping that they'll bloom. And these mosquitoes are fierce, man. They are something fierce. So 10 foot apart on these. Now, I know that grass pressure is a problem, you know, if you want high yields. But I do leave the grass up so as not to have this cattle zero in on these poor little trees. Or old Hank the horse zero in, or bugs zero in. So I do leave them a little crowded, more crowded than I should. But this year I'm just trying to hide them from the enemies that be. Next year I'll you know, make sure they get mulched about and bring them about, protect them a little bit. But 9 foot apart is what I'm putting all of these. So wet back in there, I should have brought my boots. And I stepped on a piece of mesquite that really got me. So I'm going to take a minute, gather my thoughts, do some weed whacking. I stepped on a piece of mesquite thorn that must have been 4 inches long, right through those shoes. So I went and got my steel toe boots. It's muddy in there anyway. Let me go ahead and do a little bit of planting on these blueberries. I'm excited to have blueberries. What I'm after is a food forest, very similar to what the Native Americans used to build, that they're still finding after 1,000 years, 1,500 years along the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, places where people have deliberately populated a forest with food. And down here, of course, it would have been pawpaws or something else, and I'm sure all the old growth forests have been cleared. We lost the American chestnut, so we don't have that. Probably some other trees I don't even know that were important food substances. But let me plant these blueberries. I am excited about this. This is a perfect bog environment for them. You know, when I dug this, I thought it would just be a overflow or runoff from my driveway, and that it would come and go. And I dug this about 45 days ago now, and it's filled with frogs and fish, and all manner of life is in there. I've been slowly coming out when I have time and doing a little bit of video work on this, but quite the beautiful thing. But right along that bank is where I'm going to plant those blueberries. Let me go ahead and let you run a little bit here, and how fast I'll put it on speed walk. How about that? Obviously, I'm fighting mosquitoes, right? But I like this skin so soft. It's what I like to use. It knocks them right out of the sky. I'm gonna wait a second, see if I can get some to hang around me. There we go. Bam, dead. Bam, dead. I mean, you actually see them fall out of the sky. And I don't even gotta know where they're at. I could just hear them going, ah! They do not like this stuff, that's for sure. This is what I use on old Hank too. Give him a break every now and then from the mosquitoes. So see, sometimes the droughts are good. And during drought, you don't have all these mosquitoes. Alright, this is, you know, for a little dark thing, this is a little pensive, pretty thing. Once I get these blueberries growing in there, and those will get the morning sun. Eventually I'll cut out the mesquite that's shading everything. But I don't mind the first year them getting a little extra solar protection. The nursery was underneath a deep growth trees, so I'm fine with it the way it is, and I'll come in here and clear some of this mesquite and put something else in its place. If not late this year, then early next. That is the game plan. That might be too wet. I'm still going to plant it there, but water's just pouring into the hole. But blueberries are a bog. They're a bog bush. Full sun, it says. Well, they're not going to get that right away. It says moist, well-drained, acidic soil. Well, they're not getting that, are they? We'll see if their roots can tolerate this. Now, I grew up with blueberries in bogs, so I'm not too worried. I could be wrong. We'll find out. I'm always willing to admit if I make a mistake. And that I will. Well, I already see a nice little spot for the cotton mallow. I don't even have to use my weed whacker. I'll put it right there. Go ahead and church it up just a smidgen. Now this is just a little flowering plant, similar to rock rose, let's say. And it's a hibiscus cotton mallow, if I've got that right. So I'm gonna enjoy having some little flowers out here. Well, I have to tell you, it's a lot easier putting it in 4 or 5 trees at once. It still takes me an hour, right, or more, to gather everything up, put it in the ground. But this is a nice little spot. Let me rotate. So I've got that hibiscus in the ground. I'm going to enjoy it. I always try to turn them away from however they were growing to kind of force them back into the sun. So whichever way the sun's going to hit them most, I rotate so they grow into it. This little creek has worked out for me. This goes down to a little tranquil pond that's underneath there. Then I have a buried pipe that connects to the next pond together. And I've got enough water gathered in here that I'm going to dig another one of these off in there and surround it with some more pecans and whatnots. Pawpaws maybe, I don't know. Alright, let's get this last little tree in there, a little loblolly. Like I said, I'm on a one-man mission to restore the lost pines to the last little bit. This is the limit of the historic, but I do see them around here in the woods, so this is the limit of the historic range of these loblollies. So I'm planting them near junipers. Once these get up and grown, then I'm going to cut the junipers out, have a ring of loblollies around it. You know what I don't like about mosquitoes? What really irritates me? I mean, nobody loves mosquitoes, right? But 3 brain cells hooked together in a rough ganglion, and I've got over 1 trillion synapses connections in my head, more than the stars of the cosmos, and yet I am victim to a frickin' bug with 8 brain cells. I resent that misappropriation of education. Certainly mankind should be eradicating the mosquitoes and not the mosquitoes. I guess we're on a constant war. I mean, we do poison them, they do kill us with malaria, but oh my gosh, I'll tell you what, don't let me ever cry and whine about a drought again. If that's what it takes to keep these mosquitoes down south at bay, well, once every 10 years we need to break. All right, let me talk about this loblolly forest that I'm putting in. So what I'm doing is I'm picking places where there's scruffy mesquite mixed with scruffy juniper. I'll rotate this so y'all can see. So this thing, man, it's got everything jumbled up in here. There's not a good log in it, not a straight post. I can't even make a coyote fence out of what's up there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to ring it about with loblollies, and as soon as they get, you know, yay tall, a little bigger than me, I'm going to come in here with a chainsaw and I'm going to cut out that heart and get rid of all that mesquite and all that juniper and all that. Mostly these are male cedars in here, so all that pollen, everything that's negative, I'm going to get rid of. So what I'm doing is I'm ringing it about, and these loblollies, y'all, they get big. Now they'll get big long after I'm gone, but I'm building a 1,000-year house, so there'll be a little grove of loblollies right here that'll be reminiscent of the lost pines of Bastrop, which did catch fire. We're planting over a million trees in there to try to restore. But I'm doing my part out here, paying full retail for these loblollies. I don't know how I feel about that. They can be propagated fairly easy. All right, let me take a look in there. I'm gonna cut me out a patch. Right in there somewhere. Get rid of the pressure of the weeds, grass. You got me, internet over there? You're pretty far away. Eight brain cell warriors. Man, they are so determined. So my daughter bought an all-natural mosquito repellent. It has lemongrass in it and oregano, and then she brought a sprayer for it. I said, well, try that out. Let me know how it's going. We'll see. Garlic, all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. Wow.